Hello and welcome back to the channel. I try to make it a point to take a look at one Samsung device every year, at least I have for the last few years. In the last year, I took a look at the Note 9. I actually skipped out on the S9 and S9 Plus and ended up regretting it. The Note 9 is a great device, but as I said quite a few times in my video about the Note, I'm not a Note person. So I've got the stylus. I don't use the stylus. I don't like the stylus. It's just not a thing for me. I could definitely see it being useful, especially in like work scenarios. My dad actually has been using the Note 8 for the last year, and he says he uses the stylus all the time. Like he'll actually take it out and hand it to people that he's working with and say, here, take notes on this. I'm gonna tell you what needs to be done. That's the kind of person my dad is. Maybe you'll meet him someday. But to the point, Note is really not my thing. Great device, lots of power, love the fingerprint reader. So when they announced the S10 and S10 Plus, I definitely had to jump on board. And of course, as I mentioned, the Note being a very large device, I kind of wanted to go polar opposite, so I picked up the S10. Now I did order this direct from Best Buy. I know you can get it in a bunch of different places, so I'll try to put links to everywhere you can find it down below, at least the places that I have affiliate codes, because if you aren't aware, if you order something from a link that I provide down below, usually it has an affiliate code with it, which means that the channel gets a little bit of a kickback, so I definitely appreciate it if you happen to use one of those links. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's find out what this phone is, what makes it different and special and unique. The biggest thing, it's newer, it's faster, it's better, it's the flagship, it's the thing you want. So inside of the box, oh, this is interesting. Looks like they've put the documentation up here instead of, that's interesting. Normally whenever you get a new device, you have to like rip the paperwork out of the way, but they put it out of the way, presumably because they know people don't really want it to be in the way. I say as I realize that I can't actually get it out. It's thoroughly in there. Wow, that was a difficult, trying task. But you have the ejection pin. It says eject pin, but it's like the SIM removal tool here on the back. All kinds of documentation. Oh, this device includes a pre-installed screen protector. If you remove it and want to use a different screen protector, make sure it allows for the use of all touchscreen features. By the way, when this first was released, there were a bunch of people that were trying to put tempered glass screen protectors on them and not having a good time with that. I think they've actually come out with newer ones that do support the ultrasonic fingerprint reader. That skips 2 steps ahead, but ultrasonic fingerprint reader. We'll get into that in a minute too. But this is an unlocked Samsung Galaxy S10, and here is the device. I'm not going to look at it yet. I'm not even going to look. Don't want to know. What else is in the box? You got your Samsung power brick. Looks like the same old 9 volt at 1.67 or 5 volts at 2 amps. Not quick charge 3. That's definitely still a bit of a bummer, but it does the adaptive fast charging, so can't complain too much. You got your standard USB-C to full-size USB, the smart switch adapter, along with what appears to be the cable, USB-C to USB-A, and a pair of AKG earbuds. Definitely a big fan of these. I'm gonna have to try them out because I think I've said this a few times before. Every time they provide the AKG earbuds, I end up trying them out. I end up finding out that they're actually really good, and I still use them all the time. Like when I want to listen to something at work, generally I have my AKG earbuds with me and I just plug it into my work laptop so I can have music playing in the background but not be completely distracted from everything else. Oh, and that's a really interesting way to handle the spare earbud tips. You just sort of put them on a stick. Normally they come on a card or they come in a package, like a plastic bundle. That's convenient. But these bright white AKG earbuds, little bits of plastic on them. These are gonna go directly into my backpack, into my travel bag. And here you have the Samsung Galaxy S10. Not the S10 Plus, not the S10e. Samsung decided for whatever reason to release 3 variants this time. You've got the cheaper model, I don't wanna say it's super cheap, but it's like $750, the mid-range model, and then the Plus model. But just holding this in the hand immediately, this is a whole lot smaller than the Note that I have been using. Just look at the difference there. Note on the left here, S10 on the right. That's a pretty significant size difference. And they had a couple of color variants available. I know they had black and they had white. I chose for the white version. I had sort of the purplish, bluish, I think it's lilac is actually what it's called, the Galaxy Note 9. And as you can probably see here, I've been rocking it naked just because it's so big that you put it in a pocket with a case on it, it just becomes unwieldy. So I've actually been going for like 4 or 5 months with no case on this device. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it. If you want to wear a case, by all means. I just haven't been. But I think it's time to take a look at the one thing that I was curious about. What's the back gonna look like? Because I ordered the white one, and I think they called it Prism White. I don't have it in front of me here, and I don't have another device in here to look at it with other than the Note, and no time. Let's see. Oh. It's gonna be really hard to see that on camera. Wow. It's shiny and it's reflective, but it's not just a flat white color. Yeah, as you can see in this, from this screen, it kind of looks blue, and it kind of looks gold, and kind of looks just all different colors. It's really hard to describe. I have seen a lot of people leaving this back on and just like cutting this piece off. I'm gonna go ahead and peel it off just because that is still one of the fun parts for me. Whew, and that makes that color really pop. I hope that you can see it in the reflection or something. It's not just a flat white. It's so reflective and transflective and all sorts of flectives. And it wouldn't be Samsung if it didn't have plastic all the way around the edges too. There we go. All the plastic around the outside is off. I did leave the screen protector on the front. I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. I can, however, feel it whenever I touch the edge here. And I know that's gonna get on my nerves, so it may not last terribly long. But to take a look around the device, we have the volume rocker here on the left-hand side, the Bixby button down below it, although I have heard this time around that you can actually reprogram the Bixby button. That would be a nice, helpful feature. The only time I've ever touched it on the Note is accidentally, and I immediately regretted it every time. Power button on the other side, USB-C, speaker, and of course, 3.5mm headphone jack. Still love that. And then on top, you have your SIM card slot and the other microphone. 3 rear-facing cameras. I don't know if you can see that. 3 cameras. And of course, you've got your heart rate sensor and your LED. But the 3 cameras, you have wide angle, telephoto, and standard. And I think that's 12mm, 24, and 54, or something to that extent. Again, I don't have a sheet of numbers in front of me. Probably should. Sorry about that. I'll put a link to the Samsung specs down below so you can always just go check it out for yourself. This is more just letting you know the size and how it compares to the Note and just my thoughts and experience with it. Wow, that color. It's a truly stunning color and you're not going to be able to see it on camera, so I apologize for that. But without any further ado, I've been filming for over 10 minutes. Gotta power it up. Samsung Galaxy S10 secured by Knox, powered by Android. And that's going to take a little bit. One of the key feature differences between the S10 and the S10 Plus, as you can see up here in the corner, well, maybe you can see it. Yeah, there's one little cutout for the camera. On the S10 Plus, there's 2, but presumably, from what they've said, the second one doesn't actually do anything other than just being a depth sensor. So it's not really like used for wide-angle photos or anything. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, the S10 should be able to do wide-angle selfies. Let's get started.
Help you get set up more easily by guiding you through the steps.
Okay.
Let's look at the terms and conditions.
I'm going to say that I did all of these things.
We can really get going.
Okay, we can go on.
You can restore
I'm
the
going
settings.
to say stop it. That's enough. I want to connect wirelessly and I'm going to do a sync from my Note 9. Why not? So I have to go to the old device and bring up the Smart Switch app. I don't know if I've ever done this before. We shall see. So there's the Smart Switch. I just did a search in here. We'll hit next. We're going to put in the PIN. Hopefully that's not super secure, that 4-digit PIN that is very, very temporary. We're going to try that again. We put in the PIN again. And now it says bringing your old settings. Settings sent. Wow. So it just sent the settings? Okay. I'm going to assume that's all it needed. So we'll say next. I'm guessing that means it didn't bring over photos and videos and apps and everything else. Maybe it brought over the apps list. But for the moment, it says it's checking for updates, checking info. It wants me to sign in. So it did not bring everything over, and I have to confirm it on my other device. So yes, I will confirm. Use this phone to sign in, use this one and my old phone, use my old phone only, use all my phones. Just sort of an immediate reaction here, the size. It's still a little bit big. For my daily driver phones, I've always got the iPhone XS Max on me, which actually I keep in a case, and I had the Note 9, 2 of the biggest phones that you can get. I use the Pixel 3 occasionally, but not as often as the Note. This is significantly smaller, especially if I don't put a case on it, but it could be smaller. I keep going back to the iPhone SE. I don't have one anymore, but I go back to wanting something of that size, so it seems weird. We used to have tiny phones, and we made fun of people that had bigger phones. I saw Erica Griffin posting about that on Twitter yesterday, I think. Anyway, it gave me the option to restore from a backup, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that 2 hours ago from my Note. Apps, call history, device, SMS, sure, let's do it. Now it's asking how I want to protect the phone, face, fingerprints, pattern, PIN, password. I'm gonna do fingerprints because that's the obvious one. So use a fingerprint, you need a PIN or a password or a pattern. So we'll do a pattern. And now it says to scan my fingerprint. So I have to put my finger over the sensor and then lift it when I feel the vibration. And I do have to press down a little bit. I think I saw Justine's video on this where she was talking about how hard she had to press and she was worried she was going to break it, but I'm not feeling that at all. It is definitely harder than you would expect, and I hope that that's not how it has to be every time, but the little capacitive home button on the Note device, that's how hard I had to push to get it to actually come up, so I'm not surprised by how hard you have to push on this one. And if anything, it's maybe not that hard. Now I have to scan more, so Now I know that this is a brand new type of device, so it is going to take some adjustments, some getting used to. The setup of the fingerprint scanner on the Samsung Note 9 was so ridiculously easier. So hopefully it gets to that point eventually where you just swipe your finger across it and it's done, because that one was super fast. Go back and watch that video if you want to see. I'll go back and set up the extra fingerprints later. Just want to get in, get everything going. Realistically, I want to get Samsung Pay set up on this so I can start paying for things again. I updated my debit card recently, and I use Samsung Pay to pay with my debit card almost everywhere. And because I got a new debit card, I had to actually remove the debit card from Samsung Pay and re-add it. So I just decided I'll wait till I get the new phone in place. And now that I have it here, I'm gonna have to take the time and actually call my bank and get it all set up again. So that kind of stinks. Some banks don't allow you to do it all online, but I've gone ahead and signed into my Samsung account. All done. So here is the device. Finally, I've been filming for like 18 minutes and we're just now getting here. So by default, we've got the one screen and then Bixby Home, which nobody wants and nobody likes. I agree to it, but I won't like it. No cards to show, yeah. We can swipe up to see the apps that are installed. Again, I've got the unlocked version, so there's not a whole lot that's gonna be on here. You got a bunch of Google apps. You've got a few Samsung apps, and actually, I'm kind of surprised it didn't bring down all the rest of the apps. I'm guessing, yeah, syncing's about to start. The apps are gonna be installed here shortly, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to get everything of mine installed and set up, so maybe what I'll do is I'll take a day and just spend some time with this tomorrow. I'll get Samsung Pay set up and I'll use it, and we'll wrap up the video with some photo and video samples in the daylight, because it's actually like 10 o'clock here, so it's a little dark to be doing camera samples right now, short of just what I could do in front of the studio camera, but I'll do that tomorrow. So we'll be right back. Alrighty, test video number 1, front-facing camera of the Galaxy S10. This is 4K video, and I do have the image stabilization turned on, so when I move my face around, it's probably going to track. Although it looks stable and it looks really clear, we have a lot of natural lighting here in the first floor of our home, so this is one of the more ideal settings you could be recording in. And this is rear-facing 4K 60 video, although it's going to be scaled down to 4K 30, which means that I can technically slow the footage down like you're probably seeing right now. We might do a few more samples walking around outside and maybe getting in darker places in the house just to see how this sort of compares, but this is the rear-facing highest quality video you can do on the S10. Hello, cats. Hi. Oh, you want the attention? What are you doing? Yep. And this is some very low light front-facing camera. You can see it doesn't hold up well, but no cell phone really ever does. And the rear-facing video, it's a little bit better, but it is 60 frames a second, so it's not going to be that great. Let me try 30. And this is 4K 30 frames a second on the rear-facing camera. We'll see if that's any better, but we're still decently low light in here. Just testing the wide-angle video on the rear-facing camera. This is 4K 60 presumably, so there's that. And here's some outdoor wide-angle and normal and telephoto video. Just tapping the buttons on the screen to change which lens or which part of the camera it's using. That's a significant difference right there. And you can kind of gradually do it. Go all the way up to 10. Well, I expected to take one day and spend a little bit of time with this phone. Instead, I've taken more like a week and a half, something like that. But I'm kind of glad that I did. My initial impressions were that it was just the amazing next step up in Samsung's lineup. My impressions after having used it for about a week to a week and a half is that it's a good phone. It really is. For the price, it's a little bit much for what it is. As kind of expected, the screen protector that was on it ended up coming off, but actually it ended up coming off today because I just didn't even pay attention to the fact that it was there. But I did notice a scratch formed on the screen protector, so I guess it did protect the screen as it was supposed to, but it is a cheap plastic screen protector, so it's going to scratch a whole lot easier than the glass on the screen would. After having used this for a few days, you clearly just saw all the camera samples that I put in here. The video quality looks great. The audio sounds great. To have a phone with a front-facing 4K video-capable camera is absolutely awesome. but Samsung does what it always sort of tends to do. The video is a little glitchy, the low light is really not very good. Other than that, it is a perfectly usable camera, and I could actually see myself using this while I'm on the go places if I wanted to quickly film something. Because I do tend to use Apple devices, though I've had a bit of a problem getting the footage off of it. I actually have to sync it up to Google Drive and then pull it down. Because I did try the Android file transfer program, and it was not a great experience. It actually damages the Bluetooth settings on my Mac so that I have to like revert everything back out, reboot, and hope that it all works. I had to rebuild the system the time before this whenever I was using that app, so I'm not using it anymore. I'll just do it all through either the SD card, because you can tell it to record to SD unless you're recording 4K 60, keep that in mind. But yeah, as a camera, as an everyday usage device, it's great. Is it worth the price that I paid for it? I think I paid like $1,000 for this. That's a really hard sell. It's just as good as one of the newer iPhones that cost the same price, so it's really hard to say don't buy this, but at the same time, that's still a lot of money for a device that does still have some glitches. The one thing I was really excited about with this was the front-facing fingerprint scanner, the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, and as you can see, it kind of sometimes works. And you're gonna tell me I'm doing it too short or too long or too hard or too soft. It has gotten better, actually, since I took this screen protector off, but it's still slow. It still doesn't match half the time. It's not clearly identified where it is, so you can't really see it with the screen off, so you kind of have to guess. And it does work consistently, but it's just very, very slow. I mean, if I switch hands, yeah, no match, we'll try again, there it works. So it is very much back and forth, and I spent more time being frustrated with the fingerprint reader than actually using the device, I think, because even now, I just touched it and missed it. But it's only going to get better. So this is new technology. It's something that is paving the way for the future. The optical fingerprint sensor where it has to light up the screen, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, as soon as you touch it, it's going to light up the screen anyway. So I would rather have one that's really good and really fast as opposed to one that is new, fun technology that sometimes works and most of the time doesn't. My experience is different than yours will probably be. If you can get a chance to get hands-on with one before you buy it, I would suggest doing that. I've heard nothing but good things about the Samsung S10e because it has this fingerprint sensor where the power button is, because it is a more traditional fingerprint sensor, and Samsung does those really, really well. The other thing to mention about this is the other direction charging. I can't remember what that's called. Wireless power share. I've done this a couple of times so far, and it's not blown my mind or anything, but it is a really neat feature. As you can see, it's right here in the drop-down menu, wireless power share. Put the center of your phone back to back with another device. So basically you take this section here and you put another device like my iPhone Max on here, and hopefully, yeah, it's charging. You can't see the other phone at this point, but it is charging my iPhone. I've used this, I think, 1 or maybe 2 times. I was curious how it worked, so I used it to charge my iPhone up while I was at work the other day. And unfortunately, I haven't taken the time. When I ordered this, one of the pre-order options was to get a pair of the Samsung Buds in. As you can see, I do have the Samsung wireless Galaxy Buds here, but they told me whenever I got my phone that these were not going to be available. They were back ordered for a month or several months, and they gave me a coupon code, so I ended up just ordering them anyway and saying, I'll get them when I get them. Well, they showed up yesterday after I've had the phone for just a couple of days. I mean, I haven't pulled them out yet. This might become another video if you'd like to see about the Galaxy Buds and see how they work with the Galaxy S10, maybe see how they work with an iPhone or an iPad or something, just for the sake of compatibility with other devices. But overall, because I've been talking entirely too much, as I tend to do, and I've already got like 12 minutes of video from earlier, this is not a bad device by any stretch. The screen, really nice. The front and rear facing cameras, excellent. Having wide angle for photos on the front and back and wide angle for video on the back is excellent, but I kind of wish that you could have wide angle for video on the front facing camera, because it'd be really nice to be able to hold the camera kind of close to yourself and still get the people around you and the scene around you. That doesn't work on mine. Maybe it's a software update that's coming, maybe it's just not going to happen, but as you can see here, if I go into the camera and I put the front facing camera on, and you can see photo, I have a wide angle option. Choose video, there is no wide angle option, and I can't zoom out. Can't zoom in or out in this mode, so I can't even zoom in here. Not to say that I'm surprised that you can't zoom, it doesn't have a zoom lens. But as per the Samsung usual, the camera is great. The video and audio that you get out of it is going to be great. The photos are going to be great, if a little bit oversaturated, but it's just Samsung's next device in their lineup. It's incrementally better than the S9 and the Note 9, and the Note 10 that's coming in a few months will obviously be a little bit better than this. I do like the size. As I said in the earlier section, I kind of wish it were a little smaller, but for what it is, I've been using it without a case, had no problems. The software hasn't had any real issues. It's Samsung's new One UI, so there are going to be a few hiccups to it, but it's getting better all the time. So there are probably going to be a few hiccups with it, but I haven't noticed it because I haven't been using it as my primary device. But I've been talking too much for this initial hands-on, this initial mini review here. If there's anything else you'd like to know about this, let me know and I'll either answer down in the comments or maybe make a follow-up video on it. But thank you guys, as always, for watching my videos. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video and subscribe to be notified whenever new videos are put out. And I'll see you again next time.